60 minutes Vinyasa Yoga. We are going to get started on our backs in our corpse pose. So when you're ready, go ahead and lay it down. Turn your palms to face the ceiling, letting the weight of the body settle here. Begin to notice how your physical body feels. What's touching the ground right now? How does it feel in your muscles and bones, ligaments and tendons? We'll start to slow down and deepen the breath, coming to the top and the bottom of each inhale and exhale. Begin to notice your emotions, your emotional body, your feelings. Where are they showing up? In your belly, head, chest, or muscles? Where are you feeling the feelings right now? Finally, we'll take a 3-part breath, a yogic breath, expanding the belly, raising the ribs, raising the chest. Exhale, reverse it, chest sinks, ribs sink, belly sinks. Trying to squeeze everything out at the bottom of the exhale. You'll notice that there is no bottom to the exhale. There's always more we could have exhaled. Does that make the inhale feel passive as the lungs equalize in pressure with the room before using effort to come up to the tippy top? Pushing through any sleepiness or tiredness, complete breath cycles creating both the strength in the diaphragm to breathe against impingements and restrictions in the poses, as well as the muscle memory to take these full breath cycles off the mat and back into our daily lives. Noticing the mental body, your thoughts. Are your thoughts flowing easily, rushing around, spiraling, or obsessing on a single topic or thought? Maybe finding stillness. How does it feel inside of your skin, beating the ground? Do one more complete breath cycle here, all the way in, all the way out. Inhale, exhale, bring the knees into the chest, resist any urge to cross at the ankles, circle the knees, sway them side to side, or maybe march the knees in one at a time. Make this feel good to your hip flexors and your low back, starting to wake up the body. When you feel like you're ready to come to stillness from this, we'll release to the feet, to the wide edges of the mat. Taking the knees wide, we'll send the hips up into a wide-kneed bridge. Squeeze those buns. Keeping the hips lifted, begin to circle the hips in one direction. It doesn't matter which one we start with. We'll be doing them both. Notice if this is the natural direction. We'll do 4 more like this. And then pausing, switch direction. Does this feel like the unnatural direction? Keep breathing. 4 more circles. And then releasing the bottom down to the mat. Let the knees drop open. Let the thighs just take a stretch here. Catch your breath. And then we'll bring the knees back in. Bringing the feet together. We're going to lift the head, neck, and shoulders off of the mat. Hands behind the head. Try not to interlace the fingers. Inhale, extend the legs out. Exhale, drive the knees in. Now maybe you inhale, extend, and exhale. Touch the knees to the backs of the arms. Inhaling, extending, and exhale, driving this up. Think about what happens when we take a crow pose. The knees come to the backs of the arms. You'll feel the low belly engage. You'll feel the pelvic floor try to pull up and in as we try to keep the knees and elbows connected. This is exactly what we're doing here. We're doing crow poses or practicing crow pose on our backs. We'll do 3 more of these. After the third one, bringing the knees into the chest, rest the head, neck, and shoulders down. Catch your breath. We'll send the feet to the sky for some momentum and rock and roll. Now you can hold on to the knees if this works for you. If you're ready to release the knees, let the arms extend. Maybe you extend the legs. And if this is still easy for you, you can take the arms overhead as well, finding the level that feels like work. Next time we come up to the boat, we'll just hold it. Crossing the right ankle over the left ankle. Reach with the left hand for the inner blade of the left foot. Legs extend, right arm comes behind. Can the gaze go over that right thumb? Shoulders are down. Keep breathing. Carefully release. The left ankle crosses on top. The right hand finds the inner blade of the right foot. The left arm comes behind. Can the gaze go over the left thumb? And release. Bringing your feet to the floor. We're going to take our hands behind us slightly. Fingers point to the feet, same direction. Inhale, hips up, squeeze this up, finding a reverse table. Staying here, or inhale, right knee into the chest. Exhale, foot to the sky. Keep that left bun working. Inhale, knee in. Exhale, foot to the floor. Squeeze the hips back up. Do it again. Inhale, left knee up. Exhale, foot to the sky. Holding. Inhale, knee to the chest. Exhale, foot to the floor. Lift the hips. Exhale, release them down. Send the legs out. Fold down over the legs. Give yourself a nice stretch here. We can do that again, or we can take this to a reverse table. Walking the hands behind us. Again, fingers point forward. Point those toes. Inhale, lift the hips up, finding that reverse plank. Inhale, right knee in. Exhale, foot to the sky. Inhale, right knee in. Exhale, foot to the floor. Lift the hips. Inhale, left knee in. Exhale, foot to the sky. Inhale, knee to the chest. Exhale, foot to the floor. Lift the hips. Exhale, release it down. Reach over the legs. Give yourself a good stretch. Catch your breath. And then we're going to cross the legs in front of us. Rolling over the knees might take some momentum. It might take practice. We don't get better by not trying it. Coming back to the middle of the mat, take a seat to feet child's pose. Knees together, knees wide, toes together, forehead to the mat. Catch your breath here. Notice the sensations of child's pose. We will be back here in the middle of classes so that we can compare those sensations. Releasing back up into tabletop when you're ready. Taking the fingers wide into starfish, middle fingers point to the top of the mat, bring the right shoulder to the right hip. C-curve the left side of the body. Inhale to center, exhale, left shoulder to left hip. C-curve the right side of the body. Coming back into center on your inhale, drop the belly and cow, gaze comes up. Exhale, cat, gaze between the legs. Moving with your breath cycle between cat and cow. When you look up, feel for the belly and throat stretch. Think about sending the belly and spine together to the ceiling in cat. You're free to move this around in the hands and the knees in both the cat and the cow if that feels right for you. Linking up shoulders and hips, moving the arch around in the spine. We'll do one more cat and one more cow. When you're ready to come back into tabletop, we're going to walk the hands up on the mat slightly. Tucking the toes beneath us, finding a plank pose. We're firm through the belly here. Now, you have two choices. You can take a flat back plank, or you can lock the ribs and the hips together for a hollow body hold. Both of these are valid. If you're working on going inversions or arm balances, you might want to work on that hollow body hold. Otherwise, maybe you're working on that flat back plank. Now, shoulders are down, chin is lifted. We can see the top of the mat. Turn your fingertips white. We should be able to lift the center of the palms by the pressure of the fingertips. That way we're not dumping all of our weight to the heels of the hands. We don't walk around in the heels of the feet. We don't want to dump our weight to the heels of the hands either. How's your breath cycle? Are your shoulders still down away from the ears, or do you have to pull them down? Maybe holding some saliva in your mouth to increase the pain or discomfort tolerance. Just like when we go mouth to dry and pain or fear, we're just reversing that. We're just here for 5, 4, 3, 2, downward facing dog. All right, catch your breath. Inhale to both toes. Exhale, right heel sinks down. Inhale to your toes. Exhale, left heel sinks. Inhaling toes. Exhale, right heel. Inhaling toes. Exhale, left heel. And then one more time through your breath cycle, your pace. After you've done the left heel again, inhale to both toes. Exhale, both heels sink towards the mat, hyperextending through the shoulders. Reach the crown of the head for the middle of the mat. Soften the face. Let the corners of the mouth get pulled to a smile by gravity, broadening those collarbones out. And then keeping the head between the biceps, inhale to your toes again. Exhale, bend the knees, hover them over the mat. Feel the thighs catch fire here. And then straighten the legs back to downward facing dog. Gaze to the top of the mat, walking there with straight legs. When do your hands have to leave the ground? Forward folding. Inhale, arms high, Urdhva Hastasana. Suck the shoulders into the sockets. Exhale, down to chair. Upper body reaches away from the thighs. We should be feeling a low back contraction here. The weight's in the heels, the toes are light. Inhale, right knee lift. Find your balance. Exhale, release this to step to the back of the mat. Extended high lunge, rest the chest on or inside of that thigh as the arms reach for the front of the room. Exhale, release the hands, runner's lunge. Sending the left leg high, three-legged down dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gaze to the top of the mat. You can walk there with straight legs again, or maybe you try hopping. Bending the knees and planting the feet at the top. For the top third of the mat, no matter how you chose to get there, feet inner hip width distance to bar. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down. Bending your knees, chest and thighs connect. Keeping the knees bent, inhale up to chair. Notice how it's different coming up from the bottom. Bringing this up, left knee lift. Find your balance. Exhale, carefully step this back. Extended high lunge. Chest is on or inside of that thigh as the arms reach for the front of the room. Exhale, release the hands down, runner's lunge. Swing the right leg up, three-legged down dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Catch your breath. Gaze to the top of the mat. Walk the hands back to the feet, forward fold at the back of the mat. Halfway lifting, supporting the low back. Offer the heart forward. Exhale, back down. Taking a hold of opposite elbows. Inhale to the balls of the feet. Exhale, back to the heels. Lift the toes. Inhale forward to the balls of the feet. Exhale, back to the heels. Lift the toes. One more time, rocking through the foot. When you're ready to ground through the four corners evenly, maybe you sway this side to side if ragdoll sounds good to you. When you feel like coming back to stillness, release those elbows. Find out how forward fold feels now. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, yogi squat. Turn the toes out. Take the feet as wide as they need to go. As long as the heels are down, you're in the right position. We're going to take this through some frog jumps to the top of the mat. They can be big frogs or little frogs. I like little ones because I get more, but you could do this in two big frogs if you wanted. When you get yourself up to the top of the mat, we'll get our feet to the back of the mat. Maybe that involves planting the hands and stepping back. Maybe that means you're taking a crow pose through chaturanga. Maybe you plant your feet and hop back. So I'm going to plant my hands and hop back first time. Lowering through chaturanga. You can drop to the knees if you want, but your elbows touch the rib cage all the way down. Cobra or up dog at the bottom. I prefer the cobra for the deeper back stretch, but you can also take the thighs to a suspended position for an up dog. Tucking the toes beneath you will send the hips back up, downward facing dog. Collarbones are broad, face is soft. Tailbone turns up, catch your breath. Ease to the top of the mat. Step or hop the feet up to forward fold. Halfway lifting, exhale, back down. Taking the arms behind you, we're going to take a clasp to opposite shins. Straightening the legs. The bind keeps the belly and thighs connected. The gaze is through the legs and not to the floor. Breathing here. Release the bind. Forward fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, yogi squat. All right, taking the method to the back of the mat that you would like. I'm going to take a crow pose here. So maybe you just step back. Maybe you hop back. Maybe you try crow pose and shoot your legs back to chaturanga. Cobra or up dog at the bottom. Linger as long as you need the back bend. We'll catch up in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Knees and toes are square. Turn the big toe in to level the hips. Don't let this right hip lift up. Left heel sinks down to the mat. Inhale, right knee to right elbow. Take it over to the left elbow. Bring the foot down between the two hands. Runner's lunge. Hands are on either side of the foot. You can have blocks under the hands. The hands are flat, so take any level to the blocks that you need. The back knee is engaged. Don't let the knee get soft. We can see the top of the mat. The shoulders are down away from the ears. We're breathing in our belly. Soften the face. Maybe you pick up your right toes and set them down in your version of one at a time. Releasing the left knee to the floor. Arms come up into the back bend, Anjaneyasana. Face comes through the biceps. Breathing here, feel that left leg get dragged behind you. Releasing the left hand to the ground or to a block. The right hand binds the left foot, maybe with a strap. You can stay on the left hand if you want to. You can also come down to the left elbow or even to the outer blade of the right foot. Finding the quad stretch that works for you. We'll carefully release. Grabbing a block, take it next to the right hip with the hip shifted forward, not with the hip shifted back. Not the block is not forward of the hip, it's right next to the hip. Any level of the block that you'd like as you push into the block and away from it at the same time, laterally stretching. Breathing here. Carefully release. Take the left elbow to the right thigh. Push the torso upright and away from the thighs. The gaze comes over the shoulder. Gaze to the top of the mat. Tuck the back toe. Release the knee. Taking the gaze back over the right shoulder. We're a twisted high lunge. Releasing the left foot down. Bring this up to warrior one. Hips and shoulders are square to the front of the room. Tear the mat between the legs, trying to push through the pinky toe of the left foot. Right toes are light. You can pick them up and set them down. Inhale, straighten that right knee. Exhale, folding. Finding Parsvottanasana pyramid. You can stay here. The blocks can be underneath the hands if that's what it takes to keep the hands flat. Pull the right toes up towards the face. Releasing the right foot back down. Walk the hands in front of the left foot, standing splits. Staying here or taking this to a baby grasshopper, drop the left knee behind the right knee. Right hand binds the outer blade of the left foot. Left hand might need a block as it comes in line with the right foot. Drop the left hip and extend the leg towards the right side of the room. Sending it back up, standing splits. Exhale, left foot meets the right forward fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Bend the knees and flatten the back to the floor. Keeping the hands on the hips and not the thighs. We're going to do standing cat-cows. Think I'm dropping the belly, I'm arching the back. I'm dropping the belly, I'm arching the back. The number of these you get is up to your mid-back. That differs from day to day. So when your mid-back is done, it's going to lock up. Obey that. Just be done. Drop it down to forward fold. You might get 4, you might get 20. What I care about is that you get however many that your mid-back is interested in doing. These can be humbling. When you're done, release it down, forward fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, yogi squat. Take the feet as wide apart as they need to go. Catch your breath. How do you want to get to the back of the mat? Are you going to step it back? Are you going to hop it back? Are you going to take a crow pose through chaturanga? Figure out what type of version of your vinyasa feels like work. Cobra or up dog when you're done. You're allowed to fail. Be okay if you land in a big old pile in the middle of the mat. That's how it went. Sending this back up to downward facing dog. When you've had enough cobra or up dog, soften the face, catch your breath. Heels are sinking. Inhale, left leg up, knees and toes are square, big toe turns in, right heel sinks down to the mat. Exhale, draw the left knee to the left elbow, over to the right elbow. Bring it in, knee to nose. Hop the foot down, runner's lunge. All right, blocks are available. We've got the chin lifted, the groin sinking, but the back knee is engaged. It is not soft on us. We're breathing controlled breath cycles. We can pick up our left toes and set it down in our version of one at a time. Soften your face. Unclench your teeth. Maybe holding saliva in the mouth. From here, we're going to drop the back knee, flatten the foot. Arms come up, face comes through the biceps. Anjaneyasana, drag that right leg behind us, shift the hips to the front of the room. And release. Right hand plants, left hand binds the right foot. Do you want to stay on the right hand? Do you need a block underneath it? Do you want to come down to the forearm or the outer blade of the left foot? Find the quad stretch that works for you. Releasing this carefully. Grab a block, keeping the left hip shifted forward and taking the block directly next to the hip, not forward of it. Lean into the block and push away from it at the same time. Left hand to the floor, right hand reaching, lateral stretch for the right side. Releasing this, take the right elbow to the left thigh. Push the torso upright into the back of the room as the gaze comes over the left shoulder. Gaze to the top of the mat, tuck the back toe, release the knee. Finding that twisted high lunge. Gaze comes back over the left shoulder. Spiral the back heel down. Rise up to warrior one. Square the hips and shoulders to the front of the room. Pushing through the pinky toe of the right foot. Left toes are light. We can pick them up, set them down. We're ripping the mat between the legs. Inhale. Left knee straightens. Exhale, folding. Hands find the blocks or the floor. Shoulders are down. Chin is lifted. You can always finger gun yourself under the chin to make sure you haven't dropped the nose to touch it towards the shin before the heart leads you down. Maybe you pull the left toes back towards your face, intensifying this. Releasing when you're ready. Walk the hands up, finding standing splits. Right leg goes high. Maybe you stay here. Maybe the left hand binds the right foot on the outer blade. The left hand binds the right foot on the outer blade. The right hand travels in line with the left foot. Dropping the right hip down, extend the right leg to the left side of the room. Baby grasshopper. Bringing this back up to standing splits. Exhale, right foot meets the left, forward fold. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hands to the hips. Flatten the back by bending the knees, finding that flat back position. We're going to lock the arms next to the ears with some finger guns. Inhale, draw an inch up. Exhale, draw an inch down. We're drawing a 2-inch line in the air with our fingers, drawing up and down with the inhales and exhales. Notice, do you find these harder or easier to work on than the standing cat-cows? We'll do 4 more. And then release it down, forward fold. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, yogi squat. Take the feet as wide as they need to go. Finding our work to the back of the mat. Again, you can plant the hands and just step the feet back. You can plant the hands and hop the feet back. Maybe you want a crow pose through chaturanga. Cobra or up dog at the bottom. When you're done with cobra or up dog, child's pose time. Seat to feet, forehead to the mat. Catch your breath. Notice how you feel in child's pose now. Is this easier because the legs are warm? Is it harder because they're full of blood? What's different in child's pose than what it felt like at the beginning of class? Walking the hands off the mat over to the right. Drop the forehead down. Pull on the left side. Dynamic tension. Stretch the left side long. Releasing the left side, walk this over to the left, drop the forehead down, and pull on the right side. Coming back into center, we'll reset in child's pose one more time. Coming back up to tabletop when you're ready. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees below the hips. Inhale, right arm goes to the sky, gaze follows the thumb. Inhale. Exhale, set this down to the right shoulder, the right side of the head. Maybe you stay here. Maybe the left arm wraps around the back for the left hip, or for the right hip. Maybe the left leg extends. If you choose to lift the left leg, stack out of that right leg like you're doing a balancing half moon on the ground, testing yourself. It's okay to wobble and fall. Inhale, release the left knee down, plant the left hand, right arm goes up. Inhale, gaze follows the thumb. Exhale, release. Other side. Inhale, left arm up, gaze follows the thumb. Exhale, setting it down, side of the shoulder, side of the head. Right arm maybe wraps around to the left hip. Maybe the right leg extends. If you lift the right leg, stacking out of the left hip as if you're trying a balancing half moon on the ground. Planting the right knee, plant the right hand, inhale the left arm to the sky. Notice any change in the range of motion. Exhale, release. Walk the hands up on the mat slightly, tuck the toes, measure a plank pose on the way to downward facing dog. Does downward facing dog feel different than it did? Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, lowering through chaturanga, elbows hug in tight all the way down, cobra or up a dog. Linger as long as you need the back bend. We're here for the back bends. When you have had enough is when you will tuck the toes and find downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Knees and toes are square. Big toe turns in. Point the toe, open the hip, bend the knee. Sinking the left heel down to the ground. Push both hands and foot into the ground to get that knee up a little higher. Straightening the leg, square the hip back up to the floor. Inhale, open the hip, bend the knee. Straightening the leg, square the hips back up to the floor. Inhale, open the hip, bend the knee. One more time, straightening the leg, square the hips up to the floor. Bring the left hand to the middle of the mat, step the right foot to the long edge with the toes pointing away from you. Drop into a three-pointed side plank. Exhale the whole right side, left side down to the mat. Touch the inside of the left knee with the right hand. Inhale, push this back up to the side plank. We'll do that again. Exhale, drop the whole left side down, touch the inside of the left knee with the right hand. Inhale, back up. Right leg goes high. Exhale, step the right foot on the outside of the right hand. Active lizard. The back knee is strong. We can see the top of the mat. Shoulders are down, chin is lifted. We're breathing. Don't let the shoulders crawl up the back of the mat, or back of the neck. Don't let the left knee get soft. And then we'll drop the back knee and flatten the foot. You can stay here. You can come down to forearms. You can come down to forearms on blocks. You can come onto the outer blade of the foot. If you're working on flying your lizard, you might be working on getting the right arm underneath the right leg, turning the right toes backwards, shifting this forward. Maybe you even try to bring the left leg in to touch the back of the left arm for half of a crow. Finding the lizard that feels good to you. When you have had enough lizard, we're going to bring this up for a wild warrior. All right, so finding warrior 2 feet. That right hand is off of the mat with the fingers point away from you. You can use a block here if you'd like. Push into the hand and push back at the same time. This is a side angle that has gone feral. You're trying to push yourself back on the mat at the same time the body's trying to escape. Bringing it up to warrior 2. Square your hips and shoulders to the left side. Flip the right palm, reverse your warrior. Right knee stays deeply bent. Inhale, straighten it, sky archer. Work for the breath cycle here. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, Utthita Trikonasana triangle. Left side stays flat.
Letting that lead how far down the right hand can go. Pin yourself between two panes of glass. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the long edge of the mat. Toes pivot to follow. Slightly pigeon-toed stance. Inhale. Exhale, folding down. All right, so we're folded down in our wide leg forward fold. Notice how this wide leg forward fold feels. Let's see if we can change some sensations of it. We're going to take this to Skandasana at the back of the mat. Walking yourself over to that left heel, the right toes find the sky. Maybe your hands need to be on the ground to keep the left heel down. Maybe they can find heart center. Staying low to shift this to the top of the mat might involve using your hands to help yourself get there. Again, the heel might be down. Maybe you can find heart center on the right side of Skandasana. Coming back into the center of the mat. Toe, finding a slightly pigeon-toed position. Exhale, sink this down, wide leg forward fold. Let's make one more change. Plant the hands underneath the face. Inhale to the balls of the feet. Pretend like you can stack the hips over the shoulders. Feel your abdominals compress. Exhale back to the heels, lift the toes. Hear it in my voice as we come forward into abdominal compression. That's how it should feel as you stack those hips up. Exhale back to the heels, lift the toes. Coming back into all four corners of the feet, drop this down, wide leg forward fold. How does this feel? When you've had enough wide leg forward fold, carefully walk this up to the top of the mat to set up pigeon. All right, so pigeon pose, we want that right shin parallel to the top of the mat. We're going to take whatever blocks it takes in order to get that shin parallel to the top of the mat. Build a tower of power underneath that right hip, thigh, or buttock out of 1 or 2 blocks so that when you sit upright, you don't feel like you're falling off to one side. We have backward figure 7 with the legs. The shin makes the top of the mat. The left leg goes back behind us. Folding down over that top shin, take a block for that right elbow if you have an extra one. Pushing the left hip down towards the mat is what's going to help us, remind us that it's the left hip that we're pushing. We're finding that left hip down towards the mat to pull the right hip into an open position. If you feel this in the right knee, flex your right ankle. Protect the hinge joint of the knee with some activity with the muscles, forcing the ball and socket of the hip to take this. One more deep full breath, and then we're going to draw the left knee up and release the block from the right hip. We have cheerleader legs here. We're going to take some mobility training. That might be rocking back and forth in order to pick up the legs. If you feel good about this, you can sit up tall and pick up the legs. And if you feel fancy, maybe you take the back leg and wrap it around the front leg as you work your hip mobility training. Finding the level that feels like work for you. When you're done, put the block back underneath that right hip. Taking the left leg back behind you, we're back into that figure 7 position of the legs and folding back down over our pigeon. As we push that left hip towards the floor, notice, does it feel different the second time? Shoulders are down away from the back of the neck. The teeth are unclenched. Soften the face. Again, the chin is lifted. You can always finger gun yourself. We should be able to see the top of the mat here. One more full, complete breath cycle. And then we'll release this for head of cow. I prefer to sit up on blocks, and I recommend it. I don't require it. So if you have blocks, maybe you sit those end to end as a little seat for yourself. You'll want your strap, so don't get yourself all wedged into this and find out that you can't reach it. The right leg is on top. The feet come back towards the hips. The knees stack, maybe prettily, maybe not so much. Once you find yourself in this position, we're going to take a nice wide grip to the strap. Wider grip is easier, narrow grip is harder. Inhale up, exhale back behind you. Inhale up, exhale forward. Moving at your pace. There is No need to try to keep up with me. You can go faster than me. You can go slower than me. I only care that you get some of these. So not how fast or how many shoulder flossings you get. When you're ready to end with the strap behind you, letting go with one hand, take the hand with the strap behind the head. The free hand's going to find that strap and pull it to the side like you're the world's worst archer taking a shot at the ceiling. Breathing as that shoulder gets pulled behind you. Be gentle. You won't even have to move the hands. The arms will do it. Find the other side of that. Letting go of the far hand, find the strap behind you and pull down as the chin lifts. Find out how your top tricep feels about this. And then use the top hand to pull the bottom arm up between the shoulder blades. If it makes you happy, let out some strap at the top to let the top arm straighten fully. The bottom arm's the one that's in sensation, usually in the front part of the shoulder. We're going to let the top hand release the strap, and the bottom arm is going to become our top arm. Finding the strap behind us with the free hand, pull that strap down and lift the chin. How does the second tricep feel about the stretch? Switching, letting the top arm pull the bottom arm up between the shoulder blades. Let out any extra strap that makes the top arm happy to be straight. And then we'll carefully release the strap. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears, give this a nice tight squeeze as you inhale. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, shoulders up, squeeze them up. Exhale, release it down. One more time, lock it all the way up to the back of the head or the neck, as tight as you can, a little tighter still. And then exhale, release it down. We're going to fold over the legs. So if you have the blocks underneath you, pull them out. Taking a fold down over the legs might involve just laying out long and flat, but if that's not in your practice yet, it's not in mine yet either. Maybe you use the blocks for your forearms. Maybe you use the blocks for your elbows. Maybe you use the blocks for your forehead or to your chin. Anything that helps the upper body take some weight makes the lower body feel a little bit more trusting of you. So trying to get the lower body to relax and allow the fold over the legs. There is no such thing as a happy destination to an unhappy journey. So make this a happy journey down over your legs. There is no need to force anything down. It will take the time that it takes to get there. Carefully releasing this. Helping the legs apart to a wide-legged position. The knees are bent. The fingers are going to go backwards in the hips. So if the fingers point backwards, the elbows come forward onto the inside of the thighs. You are the one who chooses how much the knees should draw the elbows in towards one another, allowing an internal rotation to the shoulders. You'll feel the shoulder blades get pulled off of your back. When you've had enough of this, carefully releasing this, let your shoulders out from that position. Get a drink as needed. We're going to find ourselves in downward facing dog. Once you get yourself back into that down dog position, keeping your butt high in the air, we're going to take 6 pike push-ups here. So keeping the hips lifted, bend the elbows out, and straighten the arms. They can be little bends. They can be big bends. You can think of this as trying to reach the crown of the head for the hands. We are just doing 6 of these at your pace. So get as many big or small as they go. Once you have done your 6, we'll come back into down dog. Moving through the last vinyasa of the practice might be the best one you've got. Inhale, shift it forward. The slower you go, the stronger you get. Lower yourself down through chaturanga and choose if it's a cobra or an up dog for you at the bottom. Only when you've had enough of that will you tuck the toes and send the hips back up to downward facing dog. Left leg goes up, knees and toes are square first. Big toe sinks to the floor. Right heel sinks down. Point the left toe, open the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the leg, square the hip to the floor. Open the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the leg, square the hip to the floor. Open the hip, bend the knee. Straighten the leg, square the hip to the floor. Bringing the right hand to the middle of the mat, step the left foot to the long edge of the mat. Left arm comes up, finding that 3-point side plank. Exhale the whole right side to the mat as the left hand touches the inside of the right knee. Inhale, push it up back to the side plank. Exhale all the way back down, touch the inside of the knee. Push it all the way back up. Planting the left hand. Inhale, left leg goes high. Exhale, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Active lizard. All right, so we're here for a few seconds. The back knee is engaged, the chin is lifted, the shoulders are down. We're breathing in the low belly. Don't let that low belly clench up. Unclench the teeth. From here, drop the knee, flatten the foot. Okay, you can be working on trying to come down to forearms on blocks. You can be trying to work to coming down to forearms on the ground or to the outer blade of the left foot. Maybe you're working on flying your lizard, getting the left arm underneath the left leg, turning the left toes backwards, shifting forward, maybe even bringing that right knee up to the back of the right arm for half of a crow. Find the level of lizard that feels like prep for you for our standing hip openers. When you feel good about that, tuck the back toe, release the knee. Finding warrior 2 feet, the left hand comes off of the mat with the fingers pointed away from you, maybe with a block underneath it. Wild warrior, that side angle that has gone feral. Inhale up, warrior 2. Wiggle out as you need to. Gazes over the left thumb. Flip the left palm, reverse your warrior. Left knee stays deeply bent. Side stretching. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Sky archer, work for the breath cycle. Inhale, power it up. Reach it out, Utthita Trikonasana. Right side pulls back, side stretching. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the long edge of the mat. Slightly pigeon-toed stance. Inhale, long flat spine. Exhale, fold it down. Notice how this feels. And then we'll walk the hands over to the right foot. The right toes turn out. The left toes find the sky. The right heel's on the ground. Maybe that means the hands need to be on the ground, maybe behind you. That's where I am on this injured hip. Maybe your hands can be at heart center. Shifting over to the left side, use your hands to stay low in the groin if needed. Keeping that, finding that Skandasana on the left side. Maybe hands can find heart center. Walk this back to the middle of the mat. Slightly pigeon-toed stance. Turn those toes in. Long flat spine. Exhale, sink. Planting the left hand under the face. Take the right hand to the sky. Push into the floor. Open the chest. Broaden the collarbones. Gazes up to the right thumb. How's your breath cycle here? Release the right hand down. Inhale. Exhale the left arm to the sky. Open the chest. Broaden the collarbones. Breathing as you press into the floor. Exhale back down. Finding wide leg forward fold again. What's different? Walking this back up to the top of the mat, we're going to set up our pigeon. Grabbing the block or blocks that we need in order to get the left shin parallel to the top of the mat. Build the tower of power underneath your left hip so that the left foot does not come under towards the groin in order to achieve this shape. We want this to be a figure 7, left shin parallel to the mat, right leg back behind you. When you feel good about this shape, we're going to fold it down. I'm a big fan of taking an extra block for my left elbow to remind me that it's the right hip I'm pressing. Pushing the right hip down gives sensation in the left hip. Do you need to flex the left ankle? Pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Remember, your chin is lifted. We can get all the way down, face down to the mat, but the head stays in line with the spine the whole time. We don't drop the head to get there. So the heart leads us, the head comes after that. Breathing deep breath cycles here. And then we're going to bring that right knee up. Releasing the block from the left hip, we have cheerleader legs. We're going to take our mobility training. Does that mean you have to rock back and forth to lift your legs? Can you stay upright and lift and lower the legs? Can you get fancy and wrap the back leg around the front leg in your mobility training? What matters is that you get the level and the amount that feels like work for you. When you've had enough of that, set that block back underneath the left hip. Send the right leg back behind you. Finding pigeon pose again, fold it down over that left shin. What does the second fold feel like? Flex the right ankle as needed. Again, holding saliva in the mouth can increase your pain or discomfort tolerance. Just like our mouths go dry in pain or fear, we're just reversing that. Carefully releasing this for head of cow. We're going to take the left leg on top. Again, I'm interested in giving my hips extra space, so I like to sit on my blocks, and I encourage that, but don't require it. With the left leg on top, the feet are back by the hips, the knees stack. Maybe not prettily, but they will stack. It's okay if this looks more like an Ardha Mattsyendrasana than it does head of cow. Once you get your feet wedged in nice and tight here, we won't need a strap. We're going to stretch the neck by dropping the right ear down. Reaching the left fingers for the floor, letting the right hand settle to the side of the head. Sit tall in the spine and breathe as the right elbow gets heavy. Releasing when you're ready. Rock the head back and forth on the right side to explore the left side of the neck. Turn the left palm up. Wrap it around the back for the left hip, or for the right hip, excuse me. Bring the gaze into the right armpit, the right hand binds with the head. Releasing to look over the two shoulders, reset the neck, and then we'll drop the left ear down and reach the right fingers for the floor. Let the left hand bind the side of the head as the elbow gets heavy to stretch the right side of the neck. Sit tall, breathe. Letting go of the side of the head when you're ready. Let the head rock on the left. Turning the right palm up. Wrapping it around the back for the left hip. Gaze into the left armpit. Left hand binds the head. Release and look over the two shoulders. Reset. Dropping the chin down to the chest. Interlace the fingers to the back of the head. Sit tall in the spine and breathe into the belly to intensify what you're feeling between the shoulder blades. Releasing the fingers. Let the head drop back. The mouth just opens to hang. Using your shoulders to lift the head up. Drop the chin down and pick a direction to roll the head in. You're looking for anything you missed, anything that needs more attention or love. If you find something, roll back and forth and get it to relax. Next time your chin makes it down to the bottom, pause and switch your direction. Notice if the answers are different in the second direction than they were in the first, without judging that they're different. When your chin makes it down to the bottom again, we'll pause and lift the head. Folding over our legs. Take the blocks with you. perhaps. If you are sitting on them, take them out from underneath you. Using them as needed to support the upper body. The goal here, of course, is to lay out long and flat over the legs, but the amount of time that it takes to get there is probably more than one class. Shoulders are down, chin's lifted. We're breathing into the belly, giving your space to lift up away from the thighs. Exhale, sink you closer to them. Notice the sensation of internal rotation here. Carefully releasing this. We're going to find a wide-legged position on the mat. Once you have this wide-legged position, pulling the toes back towards the knees, flexing the legs, we're going to bend the left knee and bring that foot up towards the buttock. Keeping both hip bones on the ground, the right hand's going to bind that left ankle. The right elbow is going to find the right thigh. Again, sits bones stay down. Don't let that left sits bone lift up. Reach over. I am not trying to grab my toe. I'm looking for a lateral stretch. That might be reaching in a slightly different direction than the toe. It is not about the toe. It's about the lateral stretch and keeping both sits bones on the ground as you reach. Breathe. Carefully release. Drop the left knee open. Turn the body over the right leg. Walk yourself out. You're free to grab the ankle, foot, or calf. I actually prefer my hands on the ground to try to square my chest towards the thigh as I fold down over the leg. Carefully walk yourself back up. Sending the left leg out, draw the right knee up towards you. The foot comes in towards the buttock, keeping both sits bones on the ground. The left hand's going to bind that right ankle. The left elbow finds the inside of the left thigh. As we reach over, we're not trying to grab the toe. We're looking for our lateral stretch. So we're looking for sensation, not how this pose looks. Pulling in that love handle to shoulder, finding that place where it's a stretch to breathe. Keep the sits bones grounded. You can always drop the right knee out if that helps you keep the sits bones down. Carefully releasing. Drop the right knee open. This is where I'm going to use a block to support my injured hip. Squaring up over your left leg, walk yourself out. You can grab the foot, ankle, or calf if you'd like. Again, I prefer my hands on the ground so I can work into the squaring of my chest towards the thigh. Carefully release. Walking yourself back up. We're going to take the legs out. Find your new maximum. Sitting up nice and tall, maybe you take the blocks with you as you fold down. I like to take the blocks higher than what I think I need them. And then just every couple breath cycles, drop a level. And drop a level. Maybe coming down to the forehead. Keeping myself sinking in a supported way. Carefully walk yourself back up from this. All right, we're going to bring the legs in just a little bit. So bringing this in from your maximum. Let's try this with blocks. You can also do this without blocks, but blocks is going to make this easier. Putting one hand in front of the groin and one hand behind the groin. Lift the hips and see if you can lift the ankles. It's heavy. Again, you can also try this without the blocks. If you get it on one side, try the other side. Lifting the hips and then lifting the feet. Try it with or without blocks. When you've had your attempts at Lalasana, taking the feet to the end of the mat, find your bottom on the mat. We're going to roll this down. Make sure you can reach a block, so make sure that's not down by your feet as you roll yourself towards the ground. Bringing your knees into your chest, we'll drop both knees over to the right. Move the feet away from the buttocks so that you have a 90-degree angle, torso to thighs, 90-degree angle, thighs to lower legs. The feet aren't close to the buttocks here, they're moved away. Breathing. Draw the knees back up through center. Coming over to the other side, drop the knees over to the left, move the feet away from the buttocks, extend the arms. Coming back into center. We're going to take a block and we're going to put it underneath the tailbone. The block is so low that when we extend the legs, we can feel it touching the tops of the backs of the thighs. It's nowhere near the waistband. And if it is near the waistband, move it down until it's nowhere near the waistband. The shoulders are down away from the ears. The palms turn to face the sky. We're settling. This is a block tuck on the way to corpse pose. It's going to take as long as it takes for us to settle on the block. And that's a different answer for each person and for each practice. You can do this video again tomorrow and you would still need a different length of time on the block. The amount of time is based on what it feels like you're laying flat already to the block. There's usually some tummy sensations that let you know you're getting close, like a heavy or dropping sensation as the intestines fall away from the wall of the abdominals. You might feel like your internal organs are sliding up inside of you because the hips being higher than the heart. It's not an inversion, but the hips are lifted. Maybe you feel your digestion kicking up, the dinner or lunch moving around again. When it feels to you as if you're laying flat, that's when you will pull the block out and set up corpse pose properly. The palms turn to face the ceiling, the weight of the body surrendered to the floor. Because the palms are open to the sky, any remaining tension of the shoulders can run down the arms and out of the fingers. Any remaining tension of the buttocks can run down the legs and out of the toes. The spine gets heavy, pulling you into the earth. The breath cycle returns to its natural rhythmic cycle of the daily life, releasing the breath work of the practice. Remind yourself that there's nothing left to do here. No one needs anything from you, and there is no one that you need to be. This is only yoga. Wiggling fingers and toes slowly.
Bringing energy back into your body, making note as to how you feel now, comparing that to how you felt when we started. What's touching the ground now? Drawing the arms overhead. Give yourself a nice tight morning squeeze. Everything in tight. And then exhale, knees to chest as you give yourself a hug. Thank yourself for practicing today. And then roll to your favorite side for transition and rebirth. When you do things from your heart, you feel a river moving in you, a joy through me. As you feel ready to do it, we'll push ourselves to seated, crossing legs, stacking the bones of the spine. Inhaling and drawing the arms high overhead. Exhale them down to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. My blessing upon you. We are complete. Namaste.